Rocking and rolling? All right. Okay, everybody, we are being recorded, just a reminder. Since it's after 7:30, I'd like to go ahead and call this January 23rd, 2020 Main Street Advisory Board meeting to order. And so today we are also going to, in case everyone hasn't met him, please introduce yourselves afterward. Mark Seelinger is here today. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
And so we'll start out the meeting today with our secretary's report.
Yeah, in your packet, you have your draft assembly meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Yeah. Second. All in favor? Aye. Great. So moving on to our staff report. Phil?
Good morning, everyone. I think we're off to a great start. I think we all had great holidays. Several of us got some time off, which was good, so we're all refreshed and ready to move forward. We are having a lot of kind of shifting of some businesses downtown that I'll provide you an update with. What the first shift that took place, Cassie and I are now moved, and so if you want to look for us, do not come to our original planning, to the planning department. So with the delay in the construction renovation of the Public Works building, come January, we had a couple of new positions that were created. One being a planning position that Shelley desperately needs, but of course had nowhere to actually physically locate him or her. And so she has advertised and starting to get some applications in. So Cassie and I agreed to move out of our little closet so that Shelley would have room somewhere to physically put her new staff. So Adrian reached out to Tripp to see if he had a vacant office in downtown. He did have something right here in 100 Glenway. And so we are on the second floor in Suite J. And so Angela stopped by yesterday to see our new digs. So we have a larger space with windows, and so we're excited. So again, let us know if you want to come up and check out the new spot. That's where we are, 100 Glenway. On the corner is Ryan Schrift's office, so the two-story brick building right next to him. Kind of some exciting news that we found out yesterday. In our Main Street budget, we were wanting to do more public art, and so one of our first pieces that we started working with, our design committee worked with Buzz to design an archway. We worked with Nellie's and the bank building to do an archway right here in front of the alleyway to try to really dress that up. And the phase 2 will be, I don't know if you remember, Ryan with AO Workshop, she won the Awesome Fund to do some more art down the alleyway, and so she was waiting on, she's kind of altered her design and waiting for the archway, and then that phase 2 will take place, but then phase 3 will be, we will then work on installing Edison lights down the alleyway to really kind of improve that alleyway. So they did the drilling yesterday. Today they're installing the poles, and then tomorrow I think they'll do the archway on top. And so several of us brainstormed. We did some research to see if there was a historic name to that alleyway. We didn't really have a historic name or reference. There used to be a business located, a men's clothing store that was referenced in some type of arcade or something, but that was not really a historic reference to the alley. So we kind of felt kind of free reign to come up with a creative name for the alleyway. And since we've been really wanting to bring more of the college downtown, we decided to name it Abbey Alley. And so that will be part of the archway. So tomorrow we'll have Abbey Alley archway. So it'll be pretty cool. So we're excited about that. a couple of businesses that moved, and I might have already given you an
Bill, make
update.
sure Seth gets credit for that.
And I'm going to start up North Main Street. I think you know that NC Buddha, where they were located next to the Lowry Agency, they are now renting the building where Exodus Church is. They have moved. They're loving it. Much more space because they're really growing. Two Chicks and Sandwich and Scoops are loving that now they have a big targeted audience right across the street, so they'll probably, sell more ice cream and after people go in and do their workout. So that's really helping populate more people on this end of South Main Street. So we had two ladies that had been looking for a spot on Main Street, so to do a high-end retail. We connected them to the Lowerleys, and they are moving forward, and so they're scheduled to open, I believe, the 1st of April is their target. So in a couple months, we'll have another nice retail spot up this way.
What are they called?
They told me what their name was going to be. I think it's something Magnolia and something, so, but it'll be a nice kind of retail boutique. So it'll be a nice addition up on North Main Street. Of course, now Belmont Specialty Foods has relocated back to, they had two locations. They had their main kitchen kind of right here across the street behind Barak Interior, so they decided to move all of their operations there. Of course, Neil Brock Insurance, right next to Belmont Specialty Foods, has moved to Catawba Street, so we have two vacant spots there. We had a very nice high-end interior design out of Charlotte, KBN Interiors. They purchased a small building behind Caravan Coffee, was going to renovate it, do a rooftop addition, live there, have some showroom space there. They have rented a space where the old AC built, Bynum AC. So they have rented that for now and have moved there. That will be where they build their cabinets. Her husband's construction, builds houses, and she's an interior designer. So we now have them on Catawba Street. So Catawba Street, I think, is pretty much 100% filled up, which is nice. We now have where Caravan Coffee and Brenda's Cake Gallery was. Not quite a year ago, there was a gentleman that kind of started working with them and started doing some baking for the coffee shop. His name is Majid. Vince and Brenda have been wanting to basically get out of running their business and do more traveling, so they are keeping their buildings, but Majid, anyway, he is taking over. And so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you might have noticed Caravan was closed for several days. He did some cleaning, renovating inside, and has changed the name to the Marketplace. Everyday Market. And so his goal is to continue the coffee but expand. He wants to eventually maybe open up the 2 spaces, have much larger space up front, and have coffee, market, and kind of grow his business. He owns a restaurant in Plaza Midwood, and I just Bistro Le Bon. If you ever eaten there, it's a really nice little French restaurant. We eat there a good bit because we can walk there from our house. But so we've got a lot of activity going on. Jacqueline Hyde is nearing completion of their work, and they, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, they said within a couple of weeks that they feel like they'll have a soft opening, and would like to invite some of us for that soft opening, so I'll let everyone know about that. And of course, you might have seen the announcement, Primal Brewery is coming into the old Riverman spot. His official opening is going to be April the 3rd, but he was going to have some soft openings prior to that. And so part of Sister Nancy's announcement will be about a beer crawl. So I reached out to a couple of weeks prior to his grand opening, and he is definitely going to participate in our beer crawl. And I think that's all as far as business movement. A couple of grants, Jekyll and Hyde, they completed their facade grant with us, so they've submitted their paperwork. That's being processed. As a result of them receiving a grant from us, since the city invested in that project, that also opened the door for us to apply for a building reuse grant to the Department of Commerce. And so we actually worked with Frank, wrote a $25,000 grant for that property because it is creating new jobs in downtown. And so he did get that. So since he's completed the work, we just completed our report and submitted for reimbursement. And so that will be closed out pretty soon as well. And I got an email yesterday that the Caramont Health grant that we wrote last year, we got a $15,000 grant. That grant process is getting ready to open again for the 2021 season, and I would like for us to apply again for that grant. Cassie and I met with Bree, our contact, about a month or two ago. They loved everything that we did with our grant, and so everything was positive, so hopefully we will get high marks again for getting another grant with them. I think that's all I have for my staff report. Are there any questions? Anything that's happened over the last month? Anything business-wise that I might have left out that you've heard or have questions about? No. Accreditation report. Every year we submit all Main Street communities in North Carolina across the country has to fill out, complete an accreditation report, and it gets submitted to the state for review. I think I mentioned in our last meeting that we were completing our report. It was completed, we got feedback. Seems like the last couple of years we were kind of deemed on one specific area, and I was very focused on that we would not get deemed on that. We did not get deemed because we had a great work plan, we accomplished things on our work plan, we were checking it off, putting dates of completion. That was the one area that we kind of got a little dinged. And so we got a response back from the state. They reviewed our report, so it was a great report. They are recommending accreditation for next year. The one thing that I got was, so thank you for all your hard work, and that accreditation is a result of all of your hard work, so thank you. So the one response we did get back is that I need to provide more training, specifically new board training, and so this next year I will work on providing more training to you, but you're also great. I felt like, you're all hitting the ground running, doing great work, but I will hold some more trainings for you to make sure that we don't get deemed again on next year's report. And there is, I think everyone has a copy of the report in your packet that you can look at. If you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know, and we can go over that. Belmont Branding, thank you so much for participating in the Belmont Branding exercise. Now we're just kind of waiting to see. They're kind of reviewing all of the survey, all their notes from different meetings, and then whenever we get anything back from that, I'll be sure to give you a heads up. But again, thank you for participating. That's going to be very significant in us moving forward and really branding, promoting our downtown, our events. So thank you for your participation in that. North Carolina Main Street Conference is coming up March the 10th through the 12th. And so did I send an email out?
You did.
Or did Cassie? Okay. I feel like we talked about go ahead and sending that out. So if you would like to go, we'll cover the registration. It's in New Bern, and so we really need to get registered fast. Last year they had, I think, over 700 attendees, and they basically cut off registration. This year is the 40th anniversary of North Carolina Main Street, and they're doing, I think, going above and beyond on some things. And so if you can go, please, please, please let me know. Hopefully, I mean, if you know, please let me know within a day or so, because I need to go ahead and start getting this registered so that we actually have a spot. And so during the conference, March the 11th is the awards ceremony. Belmont did receive a state award, and so I will go up. Only one of us could go up and accept the award. And I was trying to get Adrian or Shelley or Angela, but they wanted me to go. So I will go up and accept the award, but we can have as many people there, and that's a smaller ticketed event. So if you can go to the conference, or if you can't go, want to come for the day, let me know, and I'll also register you for that. The ceremony, I think it's around 5 or 5:30 on the 11th. So let me know, because I also need to register you for that reception.
Do we need to go ahead and get our room reservations individually, or?
Yes. New Bern, I don't know how big New Bern is, I don't know how many hotels they have, so you can only think with a conference of 700 plus people, the rooms are probably filling up fast. Now, if we wanted to look and, see if there's a couple of Airbnb houses, and we kind of go in and split and, share, a house or two, I'm fine with that. I've done that with, other places. And so just, if we can kind of let me know who all would like to go, then we will start looking for maybe a large Airbnb house that we can kind of split the cost and keep it significantly cheaper on us. So right now, are there any who's for sure can go?
Out of town.
What are the exact dates?
March 10th, 11th, and 12th. I think it starts on the afternoon of March the 10th, all day the 11th, and then half a day on the 12th. I think that's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See if I have a calendar pulled up.
It is.
That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's a great conference that has some really good breakout sessions, some great networking. Then, of course, we're actually receiving an award. So Mark, Angela, and Liz for sure. So anybody else, just please let me know in a day or so, and I'll get us registered. Okay? And I think that's my staff report. So any questions?
And it's only January. Great.
Great year.
It is going to be a great year. It is. So I guess moving on to the committee reports. Emily, Design Committee?
Yes, so we have a couple of member updates I wanted to let you guys know. Jim Dobies, who owns the vet here on Main Street, has been a part of the design committee the past few years, and he has had to resign. His business is expanding, and it's very understandable he can't give his time right now. But he did offer to still stay involved with our dog park efforts as an advisor if we need him, so that was very nice of him. And we may have a new committee member joining us, Harmony from Bliss Gallery. Expressed some interest, so I think, Phil, you've been talking with her, and she's going to submit an application. And
after we did our art lecture talk, we talked about having some more art lectures, and so I'd asked Harmony, would you like to be part of our art design committee? That's where we have our art subcommittee, and she said, well, she would do the talk to Regina, and Regina gave her blessing. So I was like, thank you, Regina, and so that'll just help us to have a stronger presence with Bliss Gallery and do more art lectures.
it's a wonderful pair
Yeah.
to have Katie from Mint Museum and our own Bliss Gallery. What's next? Box art wrap updates. We are still awaiting DOT approval. I have not seen anything come in. Have you seen anything?
And so
recently?
earlier this week, I sent another email back to the state because around the Christmas holidays, I'd sent a follow-up email. They said that they were waiting, everything was in the art subcommittee hands, that in their next meeting, that hopefully they would have a meeting in January to review and approve. And so I sent an email Tuesday or Wednesday saying, We have a meeting Thursday. I'd like to provide an update. Has a meeting been scheduled for January? If not, do they meet monthly? Can you provide me a little more? And I have not received feedback yet. So fingers crossed, maybe they are meeting this month. We'll get approval, and then as soon as it warms up a little bit, we can move forward. So that's where we're at with the box on that.
Thank you. Dog park status, we are still seeking fundraising opportunities, and now we were initially targeting St. Patrick's Day because we had spoken with the owners of Jekyll and Hyde. They talked about how they were going to do something, and we wanted to partner with that, but we're thinking we're going to seek something more in the warmer weathers when it's when dogs want to be outside. So we are actively
And people.
Dogs are okay. It's just us. So that still has some good momentum behind it, and we're still pushing forward with fundraising. Kiosks. So we have made some progress with the to-do and see category. We have another meeting tomorrow, and hopefully we will have that live soon. We have some adjustments that we asked them to make to the design of that particular category. They have made them, and we are reviewing them tomorrow, so that is still moving forward. Our history walk. So we have started this back up again to add more items to the tour and include other districts, our Main Street districts, Chronicle and River. And we also revised a press release recently, thank you, Angela, for that, and added some additional content to the existing walk that includes updated businesses. And it's still on the Belmont Go app. If you don't have it, download it and take the walk. Yes. And in our last meeting, we had spoke about some things, some new things when we were working on our work plan. And I think we have some potential new subcommittees for our design committee, one around public safety. Everyone had spoken about, there's a lot of traffic that crosses between Caravan and Stowe Park, and maybe a crosswalk going in there for pedestrian safety. And we had heard, I think from the community, someone saying that they wish there was better lighting down, I think, Airline, because some people park there and walk downtown. And so public safety is something I think we're going to be starting up within the design committee to look at those things as we have more and more people
And
joining
I'd like
us.
to give up, because I know that was something some ladies who work at William Henry mentioned to Angela, that because they park down, and so Angela mentioned that. I brought that up at one of our Monday morning meetings, and David Eisenhower says, "Oh, I'll call Duke Energy," or Duke, and I think Angela got some response.
I got a text with a picture of the lights at night.
They were thrilled that the lights had already been addressed.
Yeah,
So-
okay, good. It's a great example of it, just, you know, community involvement and with the city, and, I mean, Public Works is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was,
David Eisenhower does a great job.
Yes.
So that was a good win for us.
Yes, absolutely.
And
But I would
happy
love to
citizen.
have a few people from our committee and even the board, if you want to, walk Belmont at night and see where it's dark and where people are parking and bring suggestions back.
And even walking during the day.
Even
too.
today, yeah.
I think Abbey Alley, for example, will, once that's fully realized, will be another place that welcomes people, you know, because you have people parking on Glenway who might be wanting to come to Main Street, and that is just going to make it a lot more welcoming with it decorated, and then the lights, the Edison lights. It'll feel better.
Especially on a cold night, it'll be the quickest route.
And Emily, as an update to your discussion of the crosswalk, we had asked NCDOT for permission to put a crosswalk here, and they approved that.
Oh, good.
So David Eisenhower got up with Custom Paving, who did our regular crosswalks last year. So we will be installing a crosswalk here from the coffee shop to Stowe Park. And also fixing the dips in the street on Cloud and South Main there by NC Buddha and Stowe Park. If you're heading west. I think on McLeod toward the park, there's kind of divots in the street. Thing on that.
Nice, thank you. Great updates. And the Belmont Go app, so as I just mentioned before, we're using it for the history walk, but we see opportunity for more, like adding Trains on Main when that's complete, a walk that will go on the app for that. Also, as we get more and more public art, creating walks for that throughout town. So I think that's another potential new subcommittee. As we continue to move forward with our other projects, we can add things to Belmont Go Out to help our walkability and people engaging with our town in different ways.
Do you know how many people have downloaded the app?
We
Is
need
there
to, there is a way for us to see that. I just need to, and I can do that. I can get with you, Phil, and get the developer account information, and then we can go in and log in through the developer account. They would be the ones that would
Okay.
retain that.
But we do have that on the kiosks and advertising it, so.
Is there anything on the city's website, like a link to the download?
That's a good question.
I'll have to
Good idea.
look and see.
Yeah.
I know that it's been mentioned, and I know that we'll, in the very near future, be doing update to our website, so
That might be good to include.
it would be definitely good to include. And we've actually talked about during the Belmont Balloons having another kind of, maybe I was going to talk to you about the press release in conjunction with the Belmont Balloons, so
Okay. Yeah.
we'll talk about that, maybe we'll add that to our next design committee.
Yes. And just so I don't have this on the agenda, but last night we have another subcommittee that is working to create design guidelines. It will not have teeth, but it is a resource that new business owners or existing business owners can look to if they want to make changes or build something and what we recommend for our town. It's something that would come to this board for review and then ultimately city council. But we had a good meeting last night. We're currently coming up with a table of contents of what we want to make sure is included, and then we'll go into detail under each item after that. But we have, our subcommittee has researched other cities in North Carolina and out, and their guidelines that they have, and so we're using that as references to help build ours. So that's moving forward.
Excellent. Again, it's
Yes.
January.
So we have some great stuff going on in design. Any questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily and Mark. Economic vitality?
Okay, sure. We were invited by Ted Hall to do a presentation to the Belmont Rotary, and Angela and I did that. Angela did a really good PowerPoint. It was well received. I think, one of the things we've always wanted to do, I guess with the whole Main Street program, is, connect with the community, and so this was just another way to do that, and we enjoyed it. Had a
To
nice-
tell our story.
Exactly, to tell our story. But had a nice lunch, had a lot of questions after it, so it went really well. Second item there is the business survey update. That is out, and we've been getting some responses from it, and as we progress, I know probably at our next EV meeting, we'll go over some of the data that we have from this survey, but I think it's a really good survey, and I'm excited about finding out what the responses are, as they say, the good, bad, and ugly, so if there are things we need to work on, well, that's fine. That's what we're all about, but I haven't looked at it in the last few days. I don't know what the response has
I haven't
been
looked at
yet,
it
but
this week either.
I'll check it out.
Last week.
Is there a deadline for it, or is it just rolling?
We pushed it out. We kind of were delayed because we didn't want it to interfere with our branding survey, and so we pushed it out, and I think we said we were going to do a month, but then we were going to send out another, and we mainly sent it out we sent it just to our downtown businesses, because we were wanting to hear from them And so some of you probably did not get it. And it's not that we didn't want you to get it, we wanted to hear from our downtown
Right.
businesses. And this, because the survey was developed very specifically on things that they went through and how we can better work with them to position them better to operate their business.
It's part of our whole toolkit thing that we're doing to help businesses, new businesses, old businesses, sustainability, all that kind of stuff.
So we want to, what we talked about was then kind of seeing what the response was like, send out again, and then Jennifer actually mentioned maybe our interns, if we were to print it out, and maybe walk it down to some of the businesses as another reminder. So-
Exactly. Yeah, we want, that's the key, is we want a lot of good responses, because if it's just a small part of the business community, then, is that really a legitimate survey? I wouldn't think so. Speaking of interns, we've got 2 really good interns, we believe, from Belmont Abbey, and you're actually meeting with, is it
They're
today?
coming today.
Today, because they're coming back from.
Right, well, so they're coming in, what they're doing today to meet with Deborah, the HR director, to kind of finalize paperwork. So then their first day will be next Tuesday. They're going to work Tuesdays and Thursdays. Both of them is the same schedule, so that was kind of the final kind of clicker for us to say, we'll take both, because they were both really good, and we didn't want to, so we were trying to decide. So their work schedule allows for both of them to work Tuesdays and Thursdays. They both got class around 11, can be here and work till 5. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, they'll work basically somewhere 11 to 12 to 5 o'clock.
And I think they were really excited about it, and we're going to encourage them to attend some of our committee meetings as well. I think it'll be a great experience for them. Zip Stowe is interested in them helping him. There was a little bit of concern, excuse me, in the beginning about, are we going to have enough for them to do? We don't want to give them busy work. I think it's going to be.
It's going to be plenty.
We came up with a new item
Yeah, last night we had on the list.
Yeah, they might quit. It might be overwhelming, but I don't think so.
And so a quick update to that, I was confused early on with the number of hours, and because we did not budget anything, so we were very open that we're not going to be able to pay you. And then after I saw the hours were less, I talked to Adrian about maybe we can afford to pay them, and so we are going to pay them.
Do they know that?
They do know.
All right.
I've just reached out back to them yesterday when I was talking to them. I told them that we were, I said, I can't make any promises, but we're working on that. And
Good.
so they said, we understand because we signed up, but it will be great. Because I know that one of them had a part-time job at the Peace and Harmony. And so
Yeah, that's out.
so we're moving forward with paying them, and I think we're going to get some good work out of them.
Excellent.
So thank you, Seth, for helping.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And it's also another way of talking about connecting with the community. That's a Belmont Abbey connection, and we're definitely wanting to connect more with Belmont Abbey.
Exactly.
That's all I have.
All right, any questions for Mark? No? Because you love your committee, love all the people there in the meetings.
It's a good committee. I tell
They
you,
are.
being a former educator, I learn more from the people on my committee. I mean, it's very interesting.
Well, you keep them motivated, it's good work. And moving on to our promotions committee. Sister Nancy?
So we had a really good meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we reviewed primarily the plan we had and kind of seeing where we needed to make changes and where we could add things. So we added a couple of events for this year, one of them being a St. Patrick's Day pub crawl. And so we're working on getting that coordinated with all the restaurants who serve beer. And then we wanted to do, another new thing we want to do is a back-to-school for Belmont Abbey College and the students, and trying to get them to cross the Great Divide, which is Wilkinson Boulevard. So I did talk to a couple of people from the Abbey at the Bliss Gallery art opening for one of their professors, and they're very interested in doing something and talked about using their vans to get people downtown. So they liked the date that we had proposed, which is August 18th. It's the first weekend after classes start. And so
That's a Thursday night, Sister Nancy? Did we talk Thursday night
I
or Friday night?
think it is, I don't remember. I should have put that down.
Because that's when the weekend starts when you're in college.
That's the big night.
August the what, 18th?
August 18th.
That's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Do classes start that early?
That's what she said. Day classes, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the day classes begin.
So, yeah, I think we talked about that Thursday night.
Thursday or Friday, the 20th or 21st, that's when it is. I'm so sorry. 8/20 was the date. And we're looking at different opportunities to promote downtown and the events and things that we have going on, such as podcasts or magazines, and try to get a further reach for our events. And Friday Night Live, of course, will continue. Thursday Night Pops. We'll be supporting Go Month and Oktoberfest. And at Boo Fest, we are going to bring back, because of the disappointment of the participants at Boo Fest, the Halloween Bash, Nightmare on Main. So we're going to redo that. So there's a lot of things going on. The next thing after the pub crawl will be an art crawl, hopefully in the spring, like around April or May. Anything, I think that's pretty much it. We have some information for the DBDA that we'll bring forward at that time.
And I'd like to chime in too. We held, 2 weeks ago, we held a meeting, invited all of our bars and restaurants. We had a meeting in here, and overwhelmingly, everyone showed up at Silver 2, so we had a room full, we had great conversation between, we actually had 5 owners, they didn't all just send, staff, and so I've seen recently a shift in some of the retail, some of the businesses really trying to help promote each other, working together, and I got that sense from, in this meeting, from our bar and restaurant owners as far as really working together. So it was very promising. They're very excited about doing the bar crawl. They want to have maybe more. They want to have a series. And so we actually had planned another meeting for tomorrow, but we had to push. Several people had conflicts, so we've actually scheduled our next meeting for next Tuesday in here at 2 o'clock. If anybody wants to join, we're going to try to finalize the logistics for the St. Patty's Day Belmont Bar Crawl. So, very excited to see that number of owners. We had 5, but just the conversation, it was really exciting.
I think too, you're being more active in visiting the different businesses has really helped develop that relationship, and I think they see us more as a support.
A partner and a supporter.
And as it has in the past, I think our public faces is improving.
And great idea for the back to school for the Abbey kids. That's definitely, again, improving to reach out to another section of the community that in the past we haven't offered, I guess as much for, so that's a great idea.
What time was that meeting next week?
Next Tuesday at 2 o'clock in here, in the conference. Council.
All right. Any other questions for Sister Nancy in promotions? All right, so we'll move on to the organization committee.
Yeah. So as many of you know, we've been trying to give the organization committee a new heartbeat, get that back up and operating. So we had an initial meeting a couple weeks ago. It went phenomenal. It was myself, Jennifer Church, Al Hall. So we had some great conversation. One of which we kind of started talking about, like the action items of last year going into this year, and what we wanted to look forward to. One of the main things that we looked at was offering a Main Street Business Partnership as a membership. So offering that to not just like the demographic of our Main Street and the business owners in our Main Street district, and then giving them kind of like a membership services package, being something very affordable, because there's some business owners where sponsoring a major event would be just cost prohibitive. So being able to offer, a $25, $50 membership for the year, and then we're able to help promote them at different events, but we're also making additional funds and revenue that we wouldn't have been able to normally have collected. In that, though, again, part of that membership services, offering quarterly business partnership meetings. We talked about hosting that at like TechWorks, doing like maybe like wine and cheese or charcuterie or something, and then just kind of an informational session for that quarter. So we, as the city, can talk to business owners and let them know of different events and different, getting them kind of connected and informing them of what's happening in that we're doing and in the community, so they can better prepare their businesses for what's happening. And then we are also working on developing our sponsorship packet list, or sponsorship packet to reach out to those different businesses and those different organizations if they would like to help sponsor different events and promotions.
That'll be completed today.
Yeah.
We worked on that yesterday, that'll be done today and sent out.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a really, really great meeting. And we are going to be developing that membership and what that looks like a little bit more. That was part of the plan, but having it, having an idea and a vision of it was really good.
Great. Wonderful. We'll look forward to hearing more about how that develops.
Yeah.
And in the coming days. And
we set a rough date. Did we set a rough date for that first quarterly meeting?
Well, we talked about,
We
talked about the Engage Belmont and actually allowing that to be one of the first kind of meetings, because it was such a great.
It was great.
Meeting, information, we had a
That's
good,
true, yeah.
so we talked about holding the second Engage Belmont. I know that was something that in the city we really liked, but we talked previously about once the organization committee got back up and running, that they would spearhead the Engage Belmont. And so we talked, I can't remember, we talked about, was it the spring, tried to do another Engage Belmont, but we'll.
I want to say like an April date or something, March or April.
We got to flesh that out.
Yeah. More details to come.
Yeah, great, but great work, because I know you, like you said, you've revived it. It has a heartbeat.
Trying to.
Yeah, we had a really, really good initial meeting.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, and as far as the chair report, we're going to just talk about our work plan. That's what we'll focus on. Thanks, everyone, for the work that you did with your committees and going through all of that and submitting the information, and Phil has put it together for us, so there is a work plan in your packet if you want to pull it out. And I know that went out to everyone. Has everyone had a chance to look at it? It's okay.
Sorry for giving it to you late, I was without a computer.
It was moving.
So, my apologies for giving it out to you only yesterday. But I know that the majority of you was developing this with your committee members, and so I don't think it's anything new from any of you.
Right, so I think if it's okay with everybody, well, first just to remind you, this is going to be this is just an adjustment of last year's that's going to be our marching orders until we get the feedback from City Council and the new focus, and then we will go in again and we'll work on a 3 to 5 year work plan at that point. So So there aren't any major changes to this, just tweaks. And as we're speaking of that, do we want to just, I thought we should maybe take a quick look at the strategy and the objectives and open it up to any suggestions or tweaks to those, because I know our committees have already done the work on the specifics of those plans, but this board, you know, can make some tweaks just in the wording if it's, if we don't feel it's accurate, or especially the objectives.
So you're talking about our meeting today focusing on page 1 and 2?
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Emily. Bring it home.
I was going to ask this.
So, I will, if it's okay, I'll start it out by a suggestion. Just in talking about, and we can open this up, implementation strategy. Right now, it says that Belmont is a designated North Carolina Main Street community that uses the National Main Street Center 4-point approach, which includes organization, promotion, design, and economic development to implement a downtown revitalization initiative. I would like to expand those last few phrases because I think we have revitalization going on in parts of our districts, and then we have sort of a focus to sustain our businesses and our environment in others. Is there a way for us to say that's a little more applicable to all three districts? I mean, should it be to create a sustainable downtown with focused revitalization efforts where needed? Or, I mean, I'm not the best wordsmith, but do you get what I'm saying?
I like it to be more inclusive than just revitalization.
Yeah, because I think we're
How about just
We're more
use
than
the
that.
word vitality?
vitality.
I mean,
As far as what
revitalization.
maintaining the vitality of,
Yeah,
Maintain and,
because that, I think, is a bigger word than, revitalization is narrower.
Encourage and maintain vitality.
encourage and maintain, that would
Because
cover
some
everything.
of our districts aren't.
Need encouragement, and
Yes.
some need to just help to maintain.
Yes.
How does everybody feel about that?
I like that.
Okay.
Or can we now be an accredited NC Main Street community instead of designated? Does that matter?
Yeah.
I think that's,
It's a
Got that.
stronger word.
That's the
accredited.
designation sign over there, so maybe that means we're,
Is there a sign?
Accreditation.
yes.
I like that.
Okay. So, does anybody else want to, is everybody good with kind of those thoughts? And we can come back and do motions for each of these at the end.
okay, so read how you feel you'd like for it to be.
So Belmont is an accredited North Carolina Main Street community that uses the National Main Street Center's 4-point approach of organization, promotion, design, and economic development to encourage and maintain a vitality in its downtown districts, is that?
To encourage and maintain vitality in its downtown district.
Yeah.
Is that what I said? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't say that, I'm
Not
sorry.
a something like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's these lawyers
I think I
here.
need that coffee now. Is that good? Do we want to go ahead and, do we need to?
It would probably be easier for everyone if we had all of our suggestions and then just made a motion to adopt the work plan
Okay.
with the amendments discussed,
Okay.
as discussed in the meeting, or something like that, instead of
Okay.
making the,
Each one.
who knows how many.
Do you have those notes that what we just said?
I think so.
Okay.
Accredited, but then to design and economic development to encourage and maintain vitality in its Main Street district.
In our Main
but-
Street districts, right?
Yeah, because we want to make sure that, because there's three, it's Main Street,
Yes,
River District, and
Chronicle.
Chronicle.
Well, we technically do have three separate districts, but it is one Main
Main
Street
Street
district.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, we can say that.
Okay.
And then for, does anyone have any, like for strategy 1, it's
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What does it mean to advance the hub? I mean, I just, that would be my first question.
He's under the
I'm
first
strategy
paragraph.
1, yeah.
Economic
Strategy
positioning
1.
vision.
Yeah, advance the hub of a growing, I mean, what does that mean to advance the hub?
And we have to really think back to the conversation. This was developed last year when North Carolina Main Street staff came in and worked with us. And I think it was talking about really, we talked about wanting to grow a hub of like retail businesses, because we have a hub of restaurants and bars. And so it's really, really advancing in the marketing and promotion of those districts, or those businesses in our districts.
So is there a better word? Like,
Yeah.
is it like the community of independent business owners? Is it like, like, I'm getting it out the great words, but.
And I think that this needs to be a little more broad, because I think where the very specific wording comes in is under each of our communities.
Can we just say grow a hub of independently owned businesses exemplifying,
Well, we already have
one.
a hub of restaurants and bars, and now we're actually growing more of a hub of retail, which is kind of a strategy. So-
Defined hub is a center of activity.
Activity in a region. Yeah, so the definition is the effective center of an activity region or network. So it sounds
So what's the direction again?
Did you have a
Was it-
suggestion?
expand maybe? I don't know.
Expand?
If we already have, a lot of it's already, what was that?
Support.
Support.
Expand and support.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. And we do want to
And but we also want to
We want to
support.
support.
I think that's good.
I like it.
We like it.
Okay.
Okay. And then our goal was to fill and retain commercial space with new or expanded locally owned retail, office, and restaurants within the 3 districts. Seems fine still. Our objective was to add more business diversity to downtown over the next 18 months. Now, that one, Phil, is that quantified enough for the purpose, for our purposes of meeting an objective when we say add more business diversity? Does that quantify enough our objective to say that we've met it in the
Well, I
eyes
think when
of?
we talked about the diversity, we were looking at more retail, we were talking about, we have many of women's shops, and we were wanting to grow more, something for men. And
I'm just
so-
saying, Main Street doesn't need to have add by 10% or by,
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes
or.
they'll ask for a
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah.
So I know
So
in the
then-
report, they said, it's great that you have these objectives, but, how do you measure them? And I always had it reminded me when I did my work plan, we had to have work plans when I was a professor, and they'd always say, well, how do you quantify this? And some of it just, I'm like, well, you can't, I either write the article or I don't. But, is it something, if what we're trying to do is add more retail or add more, I know also objectives are supposed to be broader. But, can we phrase it in a way that then we can say, all right, we added 3 retail establishments this year, so therefore we've met this
We've accomplished.
objective. Because, right now, all right, how do you say that you've met that? It could be kind of open interpretation.
Definitely.
Some of the Esri data that you showed me yesterday, just kind of go completely off memory here, but I feel like there was some sort of coding in there for like different types of business,
There is.
like SIC codes or something. That might be one way to at least get it, I guess, an aspect of that. I don't know how easy that is to capture for just the Main Street district, but.
Yeah, and for year to year, how up to date is that? Because it takes a
That
while to
was
get it.
2017.
2017.
It's
So it may
usually-
not be as accurate.
Okay.
Since we're doing year to year,
Yeah.
again, 3 to 5 year, we could definitely
Esri data
incorporate some of
is
that.
normally, there's like a 2-year lag in that data. So,
So you could, yeah, I mean, that as Nick mentioned, how do you quantify the word more, so.
yeah.
Do you say, give it a percentage, do you say at least 2
Percentage or
new
numbers?
Yeah, well,
businesses,
yeah.
targeted businesses?
If we're keeping with the format of this plan, like on our strategy two,
Yeah.
we set a
Percentage.
specific 10%, to increase the walkability by 10%.
Say like 2 businesses.
I think this is say
data targeted,
2 targeted
percentage,
businesses.
yeah, 2
Yeah.
targeted businesses.
Yeah, and that means that's, because we know there'll be businesses that come
Right.
and go, but if we've targeted specific businesses and we've achieved that,
Achieved
then
it, then
that's.
it's measurable.
yeah, that was my-
We did that last year
Like we
when
did
you
with
got
the
the
outfit
outfitters.
shop.
Yeah, that was targeted, you brought it in
Yeah.
and.
Okay, so how about we do, add 2 targeted businesses to grow diversity of downtown over the next 18 months.
And then, if everybody's good with that, we can look at strategy 2, which is on the back of the page. So strategy 2 says connect the distinct districts by trolley, trail, sidewalks, and city streets by offering a variety of experiences from outdoor recreational opportunities to downtown living, dining, and family-friendly entertainment. I have no issue with that. What does
good.
anybody else think? Seems to be still valid. The goal being to have 3 physically connected districts connecting people to a variety of opportunity, still seems perfectly valid. The objective walkability metric average increased by 10%. How do I measure that?
Yeah, that was
Well,
my.
no.
Well,
did.
we did. We increased it by 12% last year because we looked at you can get your walkability scores
Right.
online from different
Okay.
towns,
Yeah.
and so we looked at what that score was, and then at the end of the year, we looked at what it had increased to, and it had increased 12%. Yay!
Check that one off.
Check it off.
Yeah.
But I think that's a challenge to meet again. I mean, that's a challenge to meet again, and we will have some dings that are going to be positive for our city, but maybe negative for our walkability, like moving some of our city services, which might happen at the end of the year, will be a ding for that, because they look at, all the variety you have. Obviously, we want to do that, it's going to be better for our community. I think there needs to be another way to meet this objective, though. And I know that we're already going to be doing some of this with the promotion, even the bar crawl that you're just talking about is going to be including Catawba Street. And I think if we can just get more people, the goal is to physically have people feel it is connected, and I think there'll be ways to do that. What do you think about a way to objectify that we've achieved it, though?
I know we increased 12%. Do you remember what that number or that score was?
I can't do math in my head. I know it started out at 58 and it went to 69 or something like that.
That's out of 100.
I think so.
Do we want to look at something about maintain existing blank and work to increase by 5%? Would
I
that
think
be?
some of your public safety strategies that you mentioned earlier can help promote the
Yeah.
walkability as
alley.
well,
Yeah.
as ensuring that there's lighting.
It's more walkable if you're more willing to.
Yes, if they feel more safe, so maybe there's a way to tie
Maybe
those
it's-
in to reach, and we might be surprised by adding the lighting, that we're going to meet that goal, because we
Right.
do see more people.
Right. So is it more about meeting safety needs for
Well,
walkability?
maybe we incorporate that and continue to work on growing the walkability.
Yeah.
Another goal should be to have the highest walk score in downtown and Gaston County.
Done.
I think that's doable.
I think that's doable. Yeah.
Metaphorical.
Okay, so how do we want to,
I like it.
We start a program, lunchtime walking
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah.
Well, the Parks and Rec already does, the Belmont Walking Club, which I noticed they're actually starting the second tour on the Belmont Go app. I peeked in there the other day.
and adding another crosswalk, I think we can actually help, and with more lighting around, we can increase, you know.
We know we can do it. The question is, how do we want to objectify it?
Madam Chair, what would you like for me to write down?
No pressure.
Do we need to satisfy the requirements that the Main Street state imposes on us? Do we have to have a percentage? Because I think if we can put what Adrian just suggested, you can't get any better than that.
I don't think you need a percentage,
Yeah.
but to some measure of.
It has to be measured in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah.
I mean, and if we want to make that metric based on other cities that are nearby.
I would like to make that metric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, make that, you know.
We can say, you could even say within, you know, highest score within Gaston, walking score
Yeah.
within Gaston County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know?
I say that without knowing what the other sport is.
I don't know either.
Assumption, right?
I know we're the best downtown, I just don't know for the highest walk score.
Yeah.
But if we're not, then that gives us something to work with.
Yeah.
Maybe we can quickly plug that in today.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to compare it to other Main Street cities, and not just,
Could I ask a question?
because there's other factors what people want.
When this becomes a 3 to 5 year plan, do we still have to meet these yearly? Because I'm thinking in 3 to 5 years, this is not going to be a problem at all.
So if we were to develop over a 3 or 5 year, it'll have much larger accomplishments, and then we will pull from that
Each year what we
year
want to do.
to work on, to try to work towards achieving, you know, a larger, larger
You know, if we
goals.
want to add 10 businesses, we'd say 2 each year or something
Okay.
like that.
I got you.
So did we decide we're good with?
Can you tie it into Go Gaston, the walkability, and tie into some of their initiatives, right? Yeah. Because we've got it, it's part of the promotions, we do promote the 1 month, but is there something we can do ongoing that will increase, that will have people walk more?
Well, I think we have a lot of this. I think the question to encourage people to walk more, I think the question is, how do we know people are walking more? And that's a harder thing I mean, really the walk. But it's not even, the real objective is really just to connect to the districts so that people are thinking of the Main Street districts as all 3 districts instead of, I mean, that's the real goal, is sort of just even more so than walkability, it is in the mindset that they're connected.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify,
How you
measure mindset.
How you measure mindset, exactly. So I think that's why we landed on the walkability metric last time. So
It's going to be really difficult connecting the Chronicle District, the River District, to DOT improvements.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is on our list from the Transportation Committee, so.
Yeah.
You know, one objective would be to support the city's request for improvements in intersections. This board can submit comments to DOT and NP to do that. But having the Chronicle redevelop the sidewalk improvements on Donald Street will better connect the Main Street District to the Chronicle District. And then the trolley assumptions, you can measure that, we do it, we don't do it, and the trail, we do it or don't do it. But I would be hesitant to use the intersection of Park and Catawba as a metric, because that's totally out of our
out of our hands.
And even if it's funded, it might be 10 years before it's.
Right. I mean, right now, I think the only thing that's on the table that's valid is using the walkability metric, and targeting either for Gaston County or for certain Main Street districts of a certain size, I guess, of a similar size.
Well, I go with the best, but.
Well, with not knowing
No, yeah.
where we stand compared to the other communities in Gaston, I mean, it's kind of a shot in the dark, but I think there's probably a safe assumption there.
Isn't that pretty easy to check?
I was just
But
looking.
would we want to maybe have both, work to increase walkability metric by 5%, with a goal of being the highest walkability
Walkable
community within Gaston County?
Okay.
So that way we kind of have two that we can kind of measure against.
Yeah.
So 5% or stick to 10%?
I think 10% will be hard to accomplish. I mean, again, we will take a,
Is your glass half full?
no, I'm saying, they do, the fact that right now all the city services are right here is a big push, and that is something we know is not going to be there, and it's, we can't recreate that.
So let's work to increase 5%.
Especially as you get up, I mean, it's diminishing
Yeah.
returns anyway. You
We've
can't
already
keep
done
going by-
12%,
Yeah.
yeah.
Question, and I know we're going to be stressed here on time here in a minute, but it's over the next 18 months, and we talked about like not knowing the mindset. But is there something, like even just like resident satisfaction, like doing something now versus the end of 18 months, engaging like resident satisfaction with the walkability?
Should we do a survey?
Yeah, I was gonna say
We could
survey.
do a survey now and then
And
a
see,
survey at
once we
the
get the
end.
results of the survey, we can, there might very well be some measurable things that we can implement coming from that survey.
Because as a psych major, mindset can definitely be quantified. Right, well, it can be quantified. So I mean, just like, again, that satisfaction survey, like, you know, that's at least, you know, when we do put in those, like, the Edison lights and things like that, I mean, what does that look like? And is it at least the perception that it's more walkable versus just the measurement?
That would work. How do we feel about that?
So do
wanna
we
go
want
with
to
a
add the
survey?
survey as part of the objective or one of the action items?
Well, it would, if it's going to be the objective, it has to be added to an action item, because it has to get done pretty soon so that it can be sent out to
Community.
the community.
I feel like that should come under organization.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay. Is everybody good with that? Okay.
So we are the most walkable downtown in Gaston County.
Already?
67, Cherville's next at 63.
Maintaining our position.
So increase 5% and maintain,
Maintain.
with the goal of maintaining.
Keep our time.
Okay. All right. Was that it? That was our goal? So that was our second one is, anybody else have any other comments about the work plan? No? Do we want to, anybody want to entertain a motion to approve the, what did you say, Jim?
Well, I'll make a motion,
Okay.
and then you all can entertain it. I will make a motion to approve the 2020-2021 work plan as presented with the amendments discussed and approved by the board here today.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
Before we move on or close this meeting, I forgot one quick update on this. I mentioned the two businesses moving out of Jonathan Taylor's building, but then I forgot to follow up anything that's moving forward there. Jonathan has had many interest in both spots. So we do have a list of several pretty good retail businesses that would like to locate there. Adrian and I had someone reach out to us, a restaurant developer. I met with that restaurant developer. We also met with Jonathan. We did a walk through both spaces, walk through upstairs and out. Jonathan had a grandiose vision of having like a rooftop patio, kind of overlooking Stowe Park. After that meeting last week, the finance person with this restaurant company came down from Chicago to meet with Jonathan, walk through the space. So they actually have, I think, about 2 weeks to make up their mind on if they want to move forward with signing a lease or not. If they do, it'll be a great addition to downtown. If they don't, we do have multiple retail businesses ready to move in. I'm actually meeting with one of them this afternoon at 4 o'clock, Mark, if you'd like to join me. That got set up yesterday afternoon late. And so, just so you know, so we will not have, 2 vacant spots in our prime spot downtown for very long. So, I forgot to include that in my update.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock today, if you can. John's going to mention that to you.
Okay.
They sent an email last night, so.
Well, that would be good. I ran into Councilman Trift yesterday, and right in front of those 2 vacant spaces, and he's like, look, you get on the Main Street board, and like within 2
You gotta
months,
do
it's like,
something.
check, these big
Well,
vacancies.
you can report back that things are in the works.
Yes, I accept responsibility.
Yes, we got 2 new council members.
And Walter's gonna
so,
fill those 2 vacancies. Creative.
All right, any other, thanks, Phil, for.
Sorry for leaving that out.
That's good to hear. So, any other new business to talk about? So do we have a motion to adjourn the Main Street Advisory Board meeting? And we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Okay. Switching audio.
We still keep recording.
Yes, Cassie's just going to switch it over. Anybody need coffee real quick? I can
Yes.
pour you some.
Watch that game last night?
No, I'm not watching until next year.
Oh, well, yeah. I've been saying that for 10 years.